Hello everyone and welcome to my travel vlog. So my brother and I decided to go to Vancouver and Calgary for his birthday. I got a little hair trim the day before we traveled as a little vacation prep. It was my first time getting some shorter layers in the front and I love how it turned out. We got to the airport and quickly checked in our baggage, and then we headed off to the Maple Leaf Lounge to grab some breakfast and just to chill and relax before our flight. The flight itself felt like it was a pretty long flight, even though it wasn't. I think it was about 4.5 to 5 hours long, but I pretty much just slept through the entire plane ride anyways. So we got to Vancouver, we picked up our luggage, and then we headed straight to go get our car. We did rent out a vehicle so we could use it for transport the whole time we were there. We were in Vancouver for just 24 hours, but it was a pretty long day because we were driving around a lot. We headed off to Palette Coffee Roasters because I saw so many TikToks about it, and it was so worth it. Their pastry and their coffees were amazing. This was our view driving into the city. It was so beautiful driving around because you always got a view of the mountains wherever you were, which was really, really pretty. We then headed off to the Lonesdale Quay Market. It was like a food market in there, which was really nice, and they had some shops on the floors above as well. We grabbed some Mexican food very quickly. We just got off the plane, so we were kind of hungry at that point. And then we started our drive over to the Capilano Suspension Bridge. As soon as you enter the park, they had a little story center about the park and the bridge, some history about it, how it was built, and what it was used for back in the days. So it was kind of nice to get an idea of how the park came to be. The park consisted of many totem poles everywhere you were. Each totem pole had a different story to tell and different history to tell, so it was very beautiful. There was a little scenic walking area around the side of where the bridge was, so we decided to go on that first before we got on the bridge, and this was so beautiful. It pretty much took you around the perimeter of the rock, I believe, or the mountain. When I finally started walking on the bridge, it was definitely not what I thought it looked like. That bridge was swaying from side to side and it was super hard to walk on because there was so much movement going on. But it was so fun. It was very cool walking on a suspended bridge. We then headed off further into the park and went treetop trekking, which was also very cool. They had these mini suspension bridges from tree to tree. We hiked around the park for a bit and then went into the gift shop to just quickly look around, and then we started a drive over to the Sea to Sky gondola in Squamish, and this was our view driving there. It was immaculate. We got to the destination about half an hour before they closed, so we bought the tickets online and we headed straight to the gondola and got on it, which took us straight to the top of the mountain. got to the top and they had another suspension bridge which connected from one end to the other. When you go over to the other end, you can go trekking through the mountain and hiking through the mountain as well, which was really cool. This was our view from the little area that they had set up for food and a gift shop. We then crossed the bridge and went hiking and found this little lonely bench in the middle of nowhere, so we had to shoot some pictures and videos. Checked out the gift shop quick, grabbed some ice cream, and then we headed to check into our hotel. We got ready quick and went for dinner because it was still the day of my brother's birthday, so we headed off to the spaghetti factory because it was pretty late by the time we got back into the city. Had some dinner and then headed back to the hotel and woke up early the next morning to catch our flight to Calgary. We started off again at the Maple Leaf Lounge, grabbed some breakfast, and this lounge had way better options in my opinion, especially for vegetarians. Our flight to Calgary was pretty short. It was about 2 to 2.5 hours, I believe. We went and grabbed our rental again and headed straight to go grab some breakfast. We checked out Phil and Sebastian Coffee Roasters and then grabbed some food at the Sidewalk Citizen Cafe. After grabbing our food and drink, we headed straight to Banff. This was our view driving there, which was very, very scenic. Very similar to how it was in Vancouver, but it was more closer to the mountains and it was beautiful. We drove straight to Lake Louise, which was where you get all those beautiful pictures, and it was so worth it. When we got there, the lake was still frozen, so there was quite a lot of people walking into the middle of the lake to get the perfect shot. We personally did not want to risk it, so we didn't end up walking to the lake, but we did get on the boardwalk and take some pictures, which was also perfect. With Lake Louise, we headed straight to the Banff village where they had more food places and some souvenir shops and other little shopping areas to check out. Once we were done with the village, we headed back into the city and checked into our hotel. After checking into the hotel, we wanted to go check out the Calgary Tower, so we headed straight there. It was definitely a little underwhelming because we did expect a little more. It was nowhere near the CN Tower, but it was a very pretty place to go check out if you wanted to get some views and check out the sunset. After that, we head into Stephen Avenue, which we heard so many good things about. Apparently, it's where everyone comes down to during the weekend. And then we headed straight back to the hotel. So I really wanted to check out a lot of local coffee shops in this trip, and I ended up finding another one, which was Alferno Coffee, and they were located inside of this little market area as well. So there was a lot of food options there. This was the actual cafe, which was on the side of the whole marketplace. After grabbing some food and coffee, we headed straight to the Calgary Public Library. If you're visiting Calgary, I would definitely recommend checking this library out. It was beautiful inside, the architecture was stunning. This was very recently built, I believe, just a little less than 10 years old if I'm not wrong. It was a little bit of a more modernized version of the Toronto Reference Library. There was definitely a lot of students here studying. There was a lot of people here with children as well, because I believe they had some stuff there for them too. After we finished with the library, we headed off to Sidewalk Citizen to grab some food. It was happy hour at the time we went, so this was the menu that they gave us. We ordered just a little bit off of the menu. The portions were pretty good. The food was pretty good, but I don't think I thoroughly enjoyed it, but it was worth the visit. Then we headed off to Deville Coffee, I believe. This coffee shop was beautiful inside. It was gorgeous. Their aesthetic was amazing. After we finished with the coffee shop, we headed over to Devonian Gardens. This is located right near Stephen Avenue inside of the mall that's there. It's actually just an extended part of their food court, which they turned into a little garden area, which was very cool. It was a quick walk through, it wasn't anything special, but it was very pretty inside. Once we finished with that, we couldn't get any reservations for dinner anywhere, so we just ate at the hotel's restaurant. The next morning, we had a very early flight back to Toronto again. As always, we checked in our luggage, headed back into the Maple Leaf Lounge, and grabbed some breakfast. This lounge was stunning. This lounge, out of the three that I went to, was beautiful. They did have some good food options as well, but I did prefer the Vancouver lounge food better. And that concluded our trip to Vancouver and Calgary. It was a short but quick 3 days. We boarded our flight and we headed back to Toronto. So thank you for watching my vlog, and I'll see you in the next one.